From the front row, Vince.
Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports Coach. I drew the short straw today, so I'm going to ask any update on Tyler, his availability. Has he passed any contact tests?
I'm not that irascible, am I? And Ramona and I are in a great place.
Yes.
I was not talking about Ramona. I think that's where
You got one more in you,
sometimes
Coach.
people read me wrong. So we're talking about Hero, huh? No new update. He's doing another contact workout today. I probably won't have anything for you tomorrow morning. Oh, we don't have a shoot around. Yeah,
So we're going to go through the same song again tomorrow.
probably. Yeah, somebody else draw that next draw.
Right here in the front.
Hello, Coach. Deniz Aksoy from Sport TV Turkey. Today, Novak Djokovic, after he won the French Open and in 23rd record, he won the title. He said, believe it and create it. That's what I've done. So as Miami Heat, you guys believed it. You believed during the playoffs, the conference finals, and then right now, how do you create it?
Yeah, we were actually just reading that. He talked about the Mamba mentality, and what a spectacular win and career. And he's talked about that mental side of the game. We have a very mentally tough team. We do believe in that. We have a big goal, and from our standpoint, nothing has changed. It is extremely challenging to accomplish that ultimate title. We have a very stubborn and defiant group, and I think it's good to have a little bit of defiance from time to time.
All the way in the back, Dan.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Coach, I know the 3-point arc has been a bellwether in the series, and as the series have gone on, the number of open threes you guys have gotten have decreased a little bit. I'm just wondering what you feel about the process the offense has been generating as opposed to the results. How do you feel about the execution of it?
Yeah, we need to do a better job. Just overall, with our offense, some of the details and how we can shift their defense. They definitely made an adjustment to try to stay at home on our three-point shooters. It's not the first time we have faced that. I think that's a great compliment to them and how important they are to our offense. We just have to do it better. There are certain things that I thought we did great in Game 3. And then there's different things we did great in Game 4. Well, we just need to put it all together. And it might not be perfect, but put more things together that are in our strength zones, even against what they're trying to get accomplished. That's what the deal is. They're trying to take away certain things. We're trying to get to certain things. How can you get to it, and how can you get on your terms?
On the right, third row.
Hey, Coach. Sebastian Hernandez for Hispanic Sports Media. A few days ago, Jamal Crawford said that Nikola Jokic, he's so good that he's not even playing against Miami Heat players. He's playing against Spoelstra. What do you think about that words, and what's your perspective about that?
Look at me. I look ridiculous. I'm not out there playing. He's not playing against me. That's absurd. No.
Ira.
Speaking of absurd, it's the first time I've ever asked a question like this. What does it say about your mascot that he could take a punch from Conor McGregor, bounce back, and still be ready to go likely in the next home game?
That's the Miami Heat toughness that we're talking about. He should have been allowed to, take the first swing. Yeah. We won't reveal who that is, but he's tough. You can take a punch and get back up, and yeah, he's not going to miss any time.
Joe.
Joe on the Athletic. Try to steer this back towards the middle, but I guess somewhere along the same lines. You like to use the word gnarly. You say you have a gnarly team. You said Game 5 is going to be gnarly. What do you mean by that, and where does that come from as it relates to this team?
We have I've used this term before, savage competitors. They love the ultimate challenges and the ultimate competition. Some of the fiercest battles were back in training camp when we were competing and splitting up teams. I mean, we could barely get through those full contact practices without everybody screaming at each other, yelling at the coaches that are officiating, arguing about the scores. Like, I mean, it's that level of intensity when they're playing and competing for a score, and love playing in these kind of environments. Where it's the crowd's going to be great. Tomorrow, everybody's counting us out. We're used to that, but ultimately it has to be decided between those four lines. The crowd's not going to decide it. The narratives aren't going to decide it. Whatever the analytics are about 3-1, that ain't going to decide it. It's going to be decided between those four lines, whose game can get to whose game and ultimately win at the end. That's what our guys love. That's what we're looking forward to it.
Last question in third row.
Coach Tomer Zarli from Clutch Points. The other day after the game, you said, let the players feel how they feel. They probably shouldn't sleep. How did the players, take the game, the flight, and getting here? And what was that range of emotion like getting him to?
Yeah, by the time we got on the flight, everybody was great. We get to compete in this kind of game, tomorrow night. Everybody's looking forward to that. If you're a real competitor, that you want this. You want the feeling that you have, today, tomorrow, leading up to the game. How you feel, in your heart and your stomach when that ball gets tipped up. Yeah, we've had setbacks. That's part of the playoffs. Tough losses. Our group has shown a resilience to bounce back and show that defiance time and time again.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Jimmy, Shane Allen, Ford Sports. Seems like Aaron Gordon and a lot of the Nuggets had a lot of cuts, backdoor cuts whenever they were blitzing Jamal Murray in the pick and roll. Is there any way you can clean that up moving into Game 5?
Yeah, just be aware. Put body on body, load, and just pay attention, honestly. But that's not the only time that there's gotten cuts or offensive rebounds. I think we got to know where everybody is on the floor and do a better job of stopping individuals from being cut. It sounds really easy, but it's actually not because they've been doing it all year long. But got to just be aware.
Dan, towards the back.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Other side of the ball, generating the shots that you want. You've been able to get to that sometimes in the series. Been a little bit tougher the last few games. I think the number of open threes you guys have gotten has decreased as the series has gone along. Just wondering how you feel about the process on the offensive end. I know even if the results haven't quite been there, do you feel like you're getting to what you want?
I think so. I have to do a better job of getting guys open, whether it be off a screen or off my attacks, to make sure that our shooters get the shots that they normally get. All the film that we watch, we got to find ways to do it. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy when you're in the finals and they're paying attention to us as much as we're paying attention to them. But we got to be able to do it if we want to win. So we do want to win, so we'll figure it out.
Malika, back left.
Jimmy, you all have talked about this belief this team has, this fact that you feel you will be the first to four. And Erik Spoelstra said that the analytics don't matter when you get between the four lines. It's just about what's here and what happens on the court. Where does that belief stand now, and how do you maintain it knowing what you're facing?
It is at an all-time high just because it always has been all year. It always will be. The belief that we have in one another, it stems from the amount of time that we spend with one another and how we actually enjoy being around one another. And we know what each other is capable of. So we didn't come this far to stop playing now, no matter what the odds are, the analytics. When we get out there, we just got to compete. We got to win one, and then we got to win another one, and then we got to win another one.
Over here on the left.
Jimmy, what has Udonis's counsel been these last couple days?
Same thing everybody's been saying. Ain't nobody got to four yet. So keep playing, stay in the fight, knowing that if we get this one, we're on our way to doing something special. So we got to win 3 before they win 1.
Vince, right here on 2.
Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. Jimmy, you guys have been on this mental and physical run for the past couple of months. How long does it take you to get over a Game 4 loss and sort of feel the cup back up? How long do those losses just sit with you?
Not long. I think there's nothing that you could do about it once you lose a game. You can get better, you can learn, and then you can go into the next one and make sure that you win, which is what we must do, the next 3 are legit must wins, or we came this far for no reason. So let go of game 4, 3, 2, and 1, and focus in on the one that's next.
We'll do last 2 on the right, and Melissa.
Jimmy, one of your greatest, biggest games in your career was a Game 5 in finals against Lakers back in the bubble. Do you recall something about that game that you can bring to this game?
Absolutely nothing. I think I was a different player then. The team looked a lot different then. And I don't even think about it. I think the group of guys that we have now, if that's what the game says you need to do, then maybe that's what happens. But I honestly don't think about 2020, 2021, none of that. We're in this time right now, so I have to be the best version of myself now, along with everybody else on this roster.
Melissa, last question.
Hey Jimmy, Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. You keep saying you need to win the next 3, or you guys have done this all for nothing. You guys have had a pretty remarkable playoff run. Obviously, you guys have a bigger ultimate goal here, but is there an appreciation also just for what you guys have accomplished so far?
Not at all. At the beginning of this year, we talked about winning a championship, competing to get to this point. So that's always the goal. It's always the goal with the Heat. It's about winning. It's not about individual anything. It's about holding that trophy collectively as a unit to be the best team. And that's where we're at. We don't, all the odds, 8 seed, da-da-da-da-da, nah. None of that matters. It's just 2 really good basketball teams. One of them has to get 1 win, and the other has to get 3. So let's just hope the other that has to get 3, get 3.
Thank you, Jimmy.
With Steve.
Over here if you want.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, we can have an intimate conversation. You and I. Let's do it.
Steve Ashburn, NBA.com. The first 2 games, the first game, Denver was unhappy with itself for allowing too many open 3-point shots. Second game, they felt they had communication breakdowns that led to you guys hitting those shots. What have you seen from them tactics-wise to try to address that area of the floor the last 2 games?
Yeah, it seems like they've prioritized that. Just maybe helping a little bit less on drives and staying home a little bit more. So, it's an adjustment. It's something that we're used to, and we feel we can still generate, good 3-point looks. And that's just going to be a matter of, running good, crisp offense with pace in the, full court and half court, and then just playing to our strengths. So definitely give them some credit in terms of just staying home just a little bit more. But like I said, we feel like we can still generate good looks.
We're going to stay on the left, 3rd row. Duncan, what's it like matching up with Bruce Brown in the finals, given the history between you guys, the relationship? I know you guys go back. Bruce was in here talking about that earlier. Is it kind of fun to look across? Like, you're matched up there in the 4th quarter, a couple of key moments late in the game there. How cool is that?
Yeah. It wasn't cool that he was killing us and we were losing. That wasn't cool. But, I have a lot of respect for Bruce and his journey and the path that he's taken. And, we like he probably had mentioned, we go back same area, playing against each other, high school, and then just following his career all the way through. Sorry. It's been really cool to see him really kind of reinvent himself and constantly find ways. He's just a good basketball player, and he can do it in different ways, and comes in as a point guard and is a really good point guard for Detroit, and then finds a new role in Brooklyn and bounces around, and now he's obviously a big part of the Western Conference champion. So he's a really good player, really good dude, and it's always fun to go against people that you have a history with.
We'll go back to Steve.
Steve Ashburn, NBA.com. Given the way you guys have typically responded when your backs are against the wall, when you're underdogs, we could almost say you have the Nuggets where you want them right now. What is it about your team and resiliency and, finding another gear or just saying no when the other side wants to say yes?
Yeah, I think we have really solid leadership in place, whether it be coaching staff, whether it be guys that are battle-tested in that sense. And I think we have a collective trust and belief in each other that regardless of the circumstances, we have enough to get it done. And I think we also just
don't get too far ahead of ourselves. You know, we take it step by step. Like today, it's just all about maximizing this prep and this practice, and tomorrow in the morning it'll be the same. And then, you know, when the balls get rolling out tomorrow night, it's just about finding a way to get one game, and we'll go from there. So just kind of having that resolve and experience, I think, makes a big difference.
Any more questions?
Nice.
Okay, thanks a lot, Duncan. Steve?
Hi, Caleb.
Start on the left here.
Steve Ashburner, NBA.com. I'm curious, you only play Denver twice during the regular season. Now you've played them 4 times in 10 days. What have you learned about them that maybe you didn't know coming into this series?
You know, they do a great job of just sticking to the system, whatever it is they do, whether it's defensively, offensively. You can definitely tell and have the feel of how much chemistry they have playing with each other, how well coached they are, and no matter how things are going throughout the game, they just stick to what they do, and you know, that's a credit to them, just how well they continue to do it, and how well mentally they are prepared, no matter how the game is going. So,
Left side, third row.
Caleb, looking at the 2 series, the Boston series and now this one, I think it's pretty obvious that you probably came into this as a bigger part of their scouting report. They probably went over a lot of film. They've come up with ways to, I think, maybe close out on you a little harder and whatnot. Have you really felt that out there, that like, they're really paying a lot more attention to you than maybe Boston did initially in that series?
yeah, it's definitely a different scout for sure. You get a different feel. For me, personally, I get a different feel out there of, you know, kind of being a little bit more of a priority, like you said, closing out, knowing where you're at, knowing when it's time to cut and those type of things. Like I said, that's part of them sticking to the system. They've been doing a great job of having a game plan and stick to it. And, you know, but that's what it's all about. You know, get to this point of the season is, you know, they're going to make things difficult, and it's going to be our job to you know, to do the same on the other end. So you got to continue to find ways to find cracks, you know, whenever we can. And, you know, I think we do a great job. We'll have a great prep today and find better ways to be more effective on both ends.
We're going to go to the left side, back row.
Gary Washer, Boston Globe. Caleb, your shot attempts are down. It's not like you're shooting poorly from the field. It's the attempts.
Yeah.
You have to be more aggressive. How do you kind of maneuver and get your opportunities more?
Yeah, you kind of got to find that balance between being aggressive but not forcing anything as well. You know, I mean, I've you know, like we were just talking about, is I've kind of been in that role where you kind of take what is given, and they've done a great job of that. You know, the opportunities I have been a lot lower just because of how they defend and what their system looks like. And you know, it might be a series in a game where I have to be more assertive and be more creative to find ways to get my attempts up. Because I think, like you said, last series my attempts were pretty high. Probably the highest they've ever been in my career, and you know, I think whenever I get, you know, have my attempts that high, I typically can be a pretty effective and efficient. So I got to be more. I definitely got to be more assertive, but you know, also, you know, within the offense, I don't, you know, I'm not the, I'm a role guy, and you know, I got to take what's given, but you know, for sure, I definitely need to find ways to be more assertive in that aspect for sure.
We're going to go left side to Steve again.
Steve Ashburner, NBA.com. When it comes to closeout or elimination games, a lot of times the spotlight is most on the stars, and people look to those guys to say, you know, get on my back.
Right.
What's the dynamic like for you guys with Jimmy and Bam in terms of, you know, them leading, you following? Do they look to you guys in a certain way to pick up, you know, a lot of that role?
Yeah, I think that like you said, naturally everybody looks to the stars to get us past that game and get us to the next one. But you know, we're a group of guys who depend and lean on each other, and that's what makes our team so great and our stars so great, that they're so unselfish, and you know, the trust factor they have and the other guys like us on the team is, you know, it pumps confidence into us, and they understand how important and key of a piece that we can be to get us to the next game as well. So I think it's a collective thing to where we all understand we all need to elevate our games, and while also, like you said, the stars being the stars, and the role players got to be stars in our roles. So.
We're going to take 2 more questions to Gary again.
Game 2 against Boston, you got hit on the arm on a 3 and it airballed, and then it went out of bounds, and you knew you got hit.
Yeah.
But it seemed that play seemed to get you going for the rest of the series. Like
Yeah.
you hit 2 more, and I think you yelled at the officials like, "See, that's what I do.
Yeah,
I don't airball threes." Like, how much did that sequence kind of get you going for that series and up your confidence for even this series?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get fuel off being disrespected, or I feel like, I feel like if someone doesn't believe I can do something, I typically find the best way possible to do it, and that definitely gets my juices flowing, like you said, especially like airballing 3 feet from the basket. Like I don't think I'm not Steph or nothing like that, but I don't think I'm airballing from 3 feet from the rim. But yeah, I just, we got to find ways to continue to, to be aggressive and, have those internal battles all the time and to keep
Last
going.
question on the back row.
Hey, get Kyle out of here, man.
Sorry, we'll do it quick. Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports, back here. Caleb, obviously under 100 3 times in this series. I'm wondering how you feel with the results of that, but the process on offense. Do you feel like you guys are getting to the kind of looks you want? And if not, how can you kind of tilt that in your favor again in Game 5?
Yeah, I think that we're definitely getting great looks. They've done a great job of taking some things away from us, but I think that we'll have adjustments to find ways to get other guys going, and that's their job. That's their job is to take away certain things, big muscle things for us. That's been in their favor, and we got to figure out, we got to take advantage of that. We're a great enough offensive team to where if you take something away, something's got to give. So, we'll definitely find ways to be more impactful on that end for sure.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Take questions for Bam. You have a question here? Okay, go ahead.
Bem, of course, Fábio Malavasi, NBA Brazil, of course, is a tough situation for you guys. What's the preparation for this game tomorrow?
By any means necessary. We go out there, lay it on the line, and you let the chips fall where they lay. Nobody wants to be in this position, but, for us, we've been through so much adversity in this season. Who else would be in this situation? So for us, man, we've dealt with adversity before. Biggest thing for us is go out there, play basketball, have ultimate clarity.
Joe, here.
Joe on The Athletic. Spo was up there earlier talking about going all the way back to training camp. He was saying that your scrimmages, inter-squad scrimmages, were so intense that people were screaming at each other, screaming at the coaches. What do you remember about those days, and who is like that on your team?
Going back to the first day of training camp, that feels so long ago. I do remember that everybody's getting intense because it's competition. And I feel like that's what brings the best out of us. We just start competing, and then, emotions start flaring, and you get to the moment of truth, and it's competition, bottom line. So for us, man, it's competition. We leave it at competition, and that's what it is.
Back right.
Bam. Paul Antunes, ESPN Brazil. When people talk about Jimmy Butler, they talk about playoff Jimmy and how he grows in the playoffs, and that's obviously going to be a big part of his legacy. But for you, how would you describe what he means to you, to your team? Is there something different about Jimmy that we don't see that makes him just special?
It's the difference y'all don't see is the will. I feel like he plays with when he gets in the playoffs. Because everybody expected to be skill, talent, finesse, and he brings a different element. It's rugged, it's in the mud, and it's winning basketball still. So everybody looks at one side and says, oh, we like the way they play, it's finesse, it's this, that, and the third. And he brings an element of, nah, we're in the mud, we're going to grind this out, and at the end of the day, we're still going to win.
Over here in the center.
Tomer Azarli from Clutch Points. Bam, is there any, I don't know, not comfort, but you guys just faced a team that won 3 games against you when you were 1 win away from advancing. Is there anything you can take from that, knowing that the team you're facing now is 1 win away from advancing and you need 3 in a row at all?
I know what it feels like to be in that position. I know what it feels like to be in that situation. And we've had guys be down 3-1 in our locker room and them share their experiences and their stories. So for us, man, it's the first to 4. And that's the mentality.
On your right.
Hey, man, now that you're talking about that, you have Kevin Love, the only guy that was part of that team that came back in a finals 3-1. How important is having him? And did he tell you, like, that as team something about that to take now to these games that are coming?
Yeah, I mean, K-Loves has been a great asset to our team, just not only on the court, but off the court. Him sharing his stories, especially down 3-1, you know, he talks about how they go into the locker room, have a conversation, and they go out and literally will wins. But it starts with just getting one, and then you go from there.
Rob, this side in the back.
Hey, Bam. Rob Mahoney from The Ringer. Even in just this time, you know, Jimmy Butler came to the Heat 4 years ago. You've been here longer than that. Spo's been here longer than that. UD's been here longer than that. But in that, 4 to 5 year range, what do you build together in terms of your working relationships and your ability to get out of situations like this one, on the court, off the court, however you think about it?
You build trust, connection, brotherhood. I mean, it goes down the list, but it all ends up us being connected and as one. And I feel like when you have that much connection with somebody in the moments of truth, y'all can be honest with one another that this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. And when you're in those situations, there's no emotion behind it. It's facts, and both of y'all receive the message, and you go out there and do everything you can for whatever that message was.
On your right, Jason.
Jay.
Would you say, as the big defending the pick and roll, would you say the biggest challenge is the unpredictability, especially if Joker's going to pick on top and then knowing he can put the ball on the floor from there?
I think their offense is all unpredictable because he's a great passer, so everybody lies when he catches the ball. So I don't think it's just the pick and roll. I think it's when anybody's sitting there, you think they're not cutting, they're cutting. When you think a guy's not open, he might be open. So I feel like that's the biggest challenge that we have.
Over here, on the left.
Yes, Ben, Kevin and his wife, they had a baby today. You guys are so close. Can you share with us the emotions of him, when he got the news?
I mean, obviously, when you have a special moment like that for somebody, you're obviously very happy, no matter what situation you're in. And to see the joy on his face for him having his baby, obviously, his wife is healthy, and everybody's healthy throughout that. That's the blessing that you get. That's a blessing that he probably needed. And, that's great news for all of us that we probably all needed.
Last one, Michael in the back.
Michael Pina, The Ringer. You've played against some great players in playoff series in your career, Bam, already. Just how unique, you answered this a little bit, but how unique is it to go up against Nikola Jokic over these past 4 games?
Very unique because he brings a different style of game and different type of pace to the game. And you can't scout it. It is what it is. The biggest thing for us is making them take and make difficult shots.
Thanks, man. That's it for today in here. Thank you.
All right, first question. Steve?
One each.
Steve Ashburner, NBA.com. Hi. Having just come off a series in which a team was down 3-0 and got itself off the mat to force a Game 7, beyond just your belief in yourselves and what you do, does that make it seem more tangible or more possible that you just saw this?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even if we didn't have that team come back from, down 3-0, I think we still believe. And the one thing about it, and I'm sure you see in the spirit around our guys, we believe in ourselves. We believe in what we could do. Yeah, we know we down. You know, unfortunately, we're down 3-1, but all we got to do is take it one possession at a time, 1 minute at a time, you know, 1 second at a time, and just continue to believe in what we do, believe in our game plan, understand what the game plan is, and just be positive. At the end of the day, you know, we got a chance to go out there and play basketball. You know, you still got to go out there and put the ball on the hole and, you know, go out there and have fun.
Left row, left side in the back row.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Kyle, the offensive efficiency kind of hasn't quite been where you guys wanted it 3 out of the 4 games here, but I'm wondering how you feel about process. Do you feel like you're getting to the kind of looks you want? And does that ever, if you're not there quite where you need to be, you ever feel like you need to force that, you know, early pull-up 3, that kind of thing? How do you sort of balance out stay in the course versus feeling like you need to jack it up a little bit?
Our team or just?
Or as the
I think as a group, I think we've found ways that we've gotten great looks. I think we found a little bit of a rhythm offensively. We haven't made all the shots. I think the turnovers. I think turnovers hurt us last game a lot. I think getting shots on goal is always big for us as a group, and that's been throughout the whole year for our team. Is getting shots on goal. I think we just got to stay confident, and I think we are very confident in what we do and how we've gotten here, and our each other's, you know, all our teammates. But yeah, I think we know what we can do offensively. We just haven't done it, and you know, we feel like we know we can do it.
We'll go to left side to Gary.
Gary Washington, Boston Globe. Kyle, what's the key to staying power in this league when your teammates are telling you that they played with you in 2K and, you know, the culture,
Gary, come on, bro. Come on. Stop the question. All right.
The culture has changed in the league, and you've been able to maintain. What's the key to that?
How long you been doing this?
More than 15, 20 years.
All right, so kind of the same thing, right? You got to always adapt, always adjust. It's always about understanding like what's going on in the world, but at the same time, staying true to yourself, right? We always say, you know, you stay true to yourself. How you write your articles, how you write your papers or whatever you write, how I play, how I work on my game. And I know it's a funny thing to say. You know, I'm 37 years old and 17 years, and the guys joke at me and they be like, "Oh, you don't, you know, you listen to like Gladys Knight and stuff like that, right?" They don't even know who Gladys Knight is, but like, you know, it's just they keep me young, and I know that in my mind, I can pass along the knowledge to them as much as I can, right? Udonis is up there with me, Kevin's up there with me. These guys keep me young. And the staying power is just believing in what you do and continuing to work. Never being satisfied with, oh yeah, I had a great career, but I still feel like I can do more, I can give more, and I'm in the opportunity I'm playing in my second NBA Finals, chance to win another ring, and that just motivates me more, right? That motivates me more, and it continues to keep me young. It continues to have me like, yo, I need to make sure I need to do something to get better. I need to do this, I need to do that, and also like, yo, I want to continue to help our league. You know, our league is important. You know, we create generational wealth for, you know, our families. You know, all the guys that come through this league. You know, we have an opportunity to make a lot of money, provide for our families, and do a game that we love, give back to our community. So for me, I just like to continue to pass along the information, but I'm still motivated to compete at the highest level.
Do we have a final question?
It's only 4 people. Oh, there you go. That's 4th question. There you go.
What do you remember most from 2019, trying to close out the Warriors in Game 6? Great group of champions. Obviously, Denver's going to try and do the same thing. Your team is obviously a team with so much championship experience as well. What do you remember most from that night and the mindset of the team trying to close that out?
I'm not gonna give Denver any no type of tips, so I ain't gonna give you that. But I think, you know, from that 2019 thing, I think my team was just completely focused on the task at hand. You know, and it's different. You know, we were on the road, so we knew what it was. We understood the situation. We understood, you know, the type of, you know, firepower those guys had. And we knew exactly like, hey, this could be a 7-game series, but we got to stay focused on the task at hand. And you know, for us, you know, going in tomorrow, we know the task at hand, and we know what we can do, and we know what we're capable of. So we got to stay focused on that and being with each other, and no matter what.
We're going to take two more questions. To Steve first.
Hi, this is considered a star-driven league, so how essential is it that Jimmy and/or Bam, has one of those great climb on my back kind of performances, from here on out?
Yeah, we really, we would love to have that. We would love to have one of those games where they both do 50 points and, we climb on their backs. But we understand that it's not just all about them. We got to support them. At the end of the day, we got to give them as much help as we possibly can. Get them good looks, get them the ball in situations that they can be successful. The one thing about those two guys, they're going to be ready to play tomorrow. They're going to be ready to go tomorrow. And for us, we got to find a way to make sure that we help them be successful. And that's what it's about. We can help them. They can get 50 and all that stuff, but we still got to help them get 50 and be in the right spots and get them the ball in a successful place.
Final question to Gary.
Is the grind and the journey just as enjoyable now, or is it a different kind of enjoyable?
It's enjoyable, period. Honestly, yeah, after games you're a little bit more sore or this or that, but the grind is it's so enjoyable. Like I said, I got a great locker room. We got a great locker room, great group of guys, great coaching staff. We got a bunch of guys who like being around each other, and that's a part of it. Like you build a bond of a brotherhood for each other, right? You build a bond that is kind of unbreakable. You go back and say, oh man, in 2000 man, we got this, and you got a group of guys who have earned the opportunity to be here and have fought and clawed to have the opportunity to be here. And that's why the grind is so enjoyable for me, is because I didn't have the best year health-wise and numbers-wise, but we're here in the opportunity to play basketball, and I'm here in the opportunity to see these guys be successful and make shots and be on the biggest stage and help them want to get here again. So the grind is very much enjoyable. It's a little bit different some days, but it's always love. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.